Hello everyone! Welcome back sa ating YouTube channel. Ako nga pong muli si Sir Chad, your math tulungin mentor. Ang topic natin ngayong araw is how to find and solve the sum and the product of the roots of a quadratic equation. Bago tayo magsimula, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell icon para updated kayo sa mga videos na i-upload ko. Huwag na natin patakilin, let's start! Hello everyone! So ang topic natin ngayong araw is how to find and solve for the sum and the product of the roots of a quadratic equation. So ano bang hitsura ulit ng isang quadratic equation? So ang general form ng quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. From the given quadratic equation, maaari tayo makakuha ng x sub 1 and x sub 2. Ang x sub 1 and x sub 2 ay sila ang tinatawag nating roots of a quadratic equation. Then, ang topic natin is sum and product. So, kapag meron tayong sum and product ng roots of a quadratic equation, maaari natin siyang isulat ng x sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to sum of the roots. And then, x sub 1 multiplied by x sub 2, so sila naman yung makukuha nating product of the roots. Meron tayong magagamit na formula upang makuha ng mabilisan ang sum and product of the roots of the quadratic equation. So, ang sum of a quadratic equation, makukuha natin siya using formula negative b divided by a. And then, yung product naman ng roots of a quadratic equation, makukuha natin siya using formula c divided by a. Sir, saan natin makukuha yung b, a, and c? So, makukuha natin ang value ng b, a, and c from the quadratic equation given. From here, which is the a, then this is the b, and this is the c. Basta wag niyong kakalimutan, dapat ganito yung hitsura ng inyong quadratic equation. Okay? Okay. So marahil may magtatanong sa inyo, Sir, saan nyo nakuha yung formula ng negative b over a para makuha ang sum ng roots? And yung c over a para makuha yung product? So, para makuha natin to, mag-start tayong mag-derive ng formula. Okay, bago tayo mag-start ng derivation, kailangan muna nating malaman kung ano x sub 1 and x sub 2. Using the quadratic formula, x sub 1 is equal to negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Saan ko nakuha to? So, nakuha ko tong formula na to from the quadratic formula. Then, yung x sub 2 naman is equal to negative b minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So, as you can see here, meron tayong dalawang roots kapag merong plus and meron namang minus. So, una muna nating i-derive is paano natin nakuha yung formula ng root ng sum of the roots of a quadratic equation, which is x sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to negative b over a. So, saan nga ba natin ito nakuha? Okay guys, so mag-start na tayo mag-derive. Kailangan nating mahanap kung bakit naging negative b over a ang sum ng roots of a quadratic equation. So, x sub 1 plus x sub 2. Para natin mapag-plus ang dalawang roots, ano ba yung x sub 1? X sub 1 is this. So, negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And ano naman yung x sub 2? So, plus negative b minus, this is our x sub 2, minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay? Next step, so makikita nyo, same denominator. So pwede kong pagsamahin yung numerators ng dalawang fraction. So sulat ko na lang dito si 2a. So negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac plus negative b minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Pasensya na, maliit talaga ang word ni sir. Next step, kailangan mawala yung parenthesis. So, negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac. Positive times negative is negative. Positive times negative is negative. B squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So, syempre, pagsasamahin natin yung magkaparehas. So, negative b. So, negative b minus b. Then, positive square root of b squared minus 4ac minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Negative b minus b, so as you can see, dalawang negative number, parang negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2b. Okay? Then, square root of b squared minus 4ac minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. So, maaari ba natin silang mapag-plus or mapag-minus? Of course, maaari naman kahit na nasa loob sila ng radical sign. Paano ang gagawin? Para lang kayo nag-solve ng plus x minus x. Ano ang x minus x? Diba? 0. So, mawawala na ng value itong dalawang ito. Magiging 0 sila. Then, matitira divided by 2a. Okay, continue tayo. So, negative 2b divided by 2a. So, negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So, negative 1b divided by a. So, tama ba na isulat ko pa yung 1? Hindi na natin siya dapat isinusulat kasi understandable na meron siyang 1. So, equal siya sa negative b over a. So, kung makikita nyo, na-derive natin or nalaman natin saan nag-start or saan nakuha ang formula ng sum of the roots of a quadratic equation, which is negative b divided by a.
Wow!
Okay, next, hanapin naman natin kung bakit ang naging formula ng product of the roots of a quadratic equation, which is x sub 1 multiplied by x sub 2 is equal to c divided by a. Paano nga ba natin nakuha ang equation na ito or ang formula na ito? Hanapin natin ang x sub 1 multiplied by x sub 2. Ang x sub 1 natin is negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a multiplied by negative b minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So, multiply natin ang numerator to numerator and denominator to denominator equals to negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac multiplied by negative b minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a times 2a is 4a squared. 2 times 2 is 4, a times a is a squared. Next, parang medyo critical, di ba? Or medyo mahirap i-multiply ang negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac at negative b minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. So, meron tayong maaaring gawin. FOIL method or multiplication of sum and difference of two binomials. So, ang pinakamadali dito is multiplication of the sum and difference of two binomials. Paano bang gagawin natin doon? So, square of the first term minus square of the last terms, which is square root of b squared minus 4ac quantity squared divided by 4a squared. Okay, so simplify natin. Negative b squared is b squared. Negative square of a square root. So tatanggalin lang natin yung square root. Magiging b squared minus 4ac divided by 4a squared. So, kailangan tanggalin natin yung parenthesis. Paano gagawin natin? B squared minus negative times positive, which is the sign of b squared. Di lang natin nakikita. Negative times positive is negative. So, negative b squared or minus b squared. Negative times negative is positive. So, positive 4ac divided by 4a squared. Next, b squared minus b squared is, of course, so, 0 siya or walang value. Ang matitira natin is 4ac divided by 4a squared. Lapit na tayo matapos. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So, susulat pa ba natin yung 1? So, hindi natin susulat. So, ang natitira is ac divided by a squared. Tapos na ba ito? Of course, hindi pa ito tapos. So, AC. So, ang a squared, maaari natin siyang isulat na a times a. So, dalawa yung a. So, cancel natin. Or, a divided by a is 1. Ang matitira is c divided by a. Which is, siya yung formula natin para makuha ang product of the roots of a quadratic equation. Okay, so magbibigay ulit tayo ng halimbawa para mas maintindihan ng bawat isa. So, given the equation, so equation number 1, meron tayong given na x squared minus 6x minus 27 is equal to 0. Hanapin natin ang sum and product of the roots. Pero hindi muna natin kukunin yung roots. Gamitin natin yung formula na na-derive natin kanina. So, hanapin muna natin ang A, B, and C. Ano yung value ni A? A is 1, B is negative 6, C is negative 27. Paano mahanap yung sum ng roots? So, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to negative B over A. Ano yung B? So, negative 6 divided by A, which is 1. Negative of a negative number will be positive number. So, magiging positive 6 divided by 1. 6 divided by 1 is, of course, 6. So, as per our formula, ang value ng ating sum of the roots will be 6. Next will be the product of the roots, which is, ang given nating formula is x sub 1 times x sub 2 is equal to c divided by a. Ano yung c? So, negative 27 divided by a, which is 1. Negative 27 divided by 1 is negative 27. Ang ating product of the roots will be negative 27. So, paano natin malalaman kung tama yung ating sum and tama yung ating product? Siyempre, kunin muna natin ang roots ng given quadratic equation. Paano natin makukuha? Merong 4 na paraan: extracting the roots, factoring, quadratic formula, and completing the square. So, gamitin natin ang factoring. Meron po akong video tutorial about factoring. Nasa description below ang link. At click nyo lang po and you will be directed sa video tutorial about the factoring. Okay? So, meron tayong 2 binomial equated to 0. Then, x squared will be x and x. Next, find a number. When multiplied, we'll have an answer of negative 27 Tapos, kapag pinag-plus, meron tayong negative 6. For example, negative 27. Ano ang numbers kapag minultiply, equivalent to negative 27, and kapag pinag-plus, equivalent to negative 6? Sulat na lang natin lahat ng factors ng negative 27. Pwedeng 1 times negative 27. So, 1 plus negative 27 equals to negative 26. So, hindi siya negative 6. So, hindi to pwede. Next, ano pa ang factors ng negative 27? Pwedeng 3 times negative 9. So, 3 plus negative 9 is equal to negative 6. Which is, yun yung hinahanap natin. Therefore, ang isusulat natin dito para makumpleto ang equation is positive 3 and negative 9. Okay, tapos na yung ating factoring. X plus 3 times x minus 9 is equal to 0. So, meron tayong dalawang binomial. Paano natin makukuha yung value ng x? Of course, meron tayong dalawang conditions. X plus 3 is equal to 0 and x minus 9 is equal to 0. So, pag nilipat natin or niliba natin sa kabila, ang positive 3 magiging negative 3. Then, ang negative 9, kapag nilipat natin sa kabila, magiging x is equal to positive 9. Therefore, meron tayong two values of x. Maaaring ito ang iyong x sub 1 and ito naman ang iyong x sub 2. Check natin. Kailangan makita natin kung tama ba ang nakuha nating value ng sum and value ng product. X sub 1 plus x sub 2. So, ano x sub 1? So, negative 3. X sub 2 is positive 9. Negative 3 plus 9 is 6. So, kita naman natin. Kitang-kita. 6 ang sum ng ating roots. Which is, yun yung nakuha natin kanina. Next, x sub 1 times x sub 2, which is negative 3 times 9 is equal to, simpleng-simple, negative 27. Which is, yun yung nakuha nating product ng roots using the formula c divided by 8. Ibig sabihin, tama yung nakuha nating sum and product of the roots of the given quadratic equation. Next example tayo. So, 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. Hanapin natin ang value ng a, b, and c. A is 2, b is negative 5, and c is 3. Next, hanapin naman natin ang sum and product of the roots given ang value ng a, b, and c. X sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to negative b divided by a. Negative b is negative of negative 5 divided by a, which is 2. Next, negative times negative is positive. So, 5 divided by 2. This is the sum of the roots of the given quadratic equation. Next, hanapin naman natin ang product of the roots. So, x sub 1 times x sub 2 is equal to c divided by a. c is 3 divided by a, which is 2. Therefore, ang ating product of the roots will be 3 divided by 2 or 3 halves. Next, para ma-prove ulit, hanapin naman ulit natin ang roots. Sa ngayon, ang gagamitin naman nating formula para mahanap ang roots ng given quadratic equation will be the quadratic formula. Ano ang quadratic formula? X is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Negative b natin is negative 5. plus or minus square root of b squared. So, negative 5 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, and times c, which is 3. Divided by 2 times 2. Negative of a negative number, so magiging positive 5 plus or minus square root of negative 5 squared is 25 minus 4 times 2 is 8 times 3. So, ilan? Tama, 24. Divided by 2 times 2, which is 4. Next, simplify natin yung nasa loob ng radical sign. 5 plus or minus square root of 25 minus 24 is 1 divided by 4. Next, simplify natin yung square root of 1. Ano yung square root ng 1? So, 5 plus or minus 1 divided by 4. Tapos na ba? Of course, hindi pa. So, magkakaroon tayo ng dalawang situation. Find the value of x sub 1 kapag ang formula is, or the equation will be 5 plus 1 divided by 4, and x sub 2 when 5 minus 1 is divided by 4. 5 plus 1 is 6 over 4, or kapag nilowest term natin, siya ay magiging 3 halves or 3 over 2. Then 5 minus 1 is 4 divided by 4. So, ang x sub 2 natin is 1. So, ito ang ating dalawang roots. Napakasimple. Try nga natin. Ano ang makukuha natin kapag pinag-plus natin yung dalawang number? Okay, ang nakuha nating roots ay x sub 1 is equals to 3 divided by 2, and x sub 2 is 1. Tandaan mga bata, maaaring ang x sub 1 mo is 1 and x sub 2 is 3 over 2. Basta makuha mo tong dalawang value na ito, tama yung roots na nakuha mo. Hanapin natin ang sum ng dalawang roots, x sub 1 plus x sub 2. So, 3 over 2 plus 1. So, hanapin natin ang LCD ng dalawang number, which is the LCD of 1 and 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 times 3, it is 3. Then 2 divided by 1 is 2 times 2, it is positive 2. 3 divided by 3 plus 2 is 5 divided by 2. Therefore, ang ating sum ng roots is 5 over 2, which is siya yung nakuha natin kanina. Next, hanapin natin yung product. X sub 1 multiplied by x sub 2. So, 3 over 2 times 1, of course, 3 over 2, which is siya yung nakuha nating value kanina.
Good job! Good job! Good job!
So, ang last example natin will be a word problem.
NANI?! お前はもう死んでいる。
The perimeter of a rectangular metal plate is 36 decimeter and its area is 80 decimeter squared. Find its dimensions. Okay, so una muna, syempre, isusulat natin yung mga given based sa nabanggit sa word problem. Ano yung mga given? Ang sabi niya, yung perimeter daw, ang perimeter is 36 decimeter or dm. Then, yung kanya namang area is 80 decimeter squared. Ang tinatanong ngayon is kung ano yung dimension. So, ano ba tong given? Kung may perimeter at merong area. Ang given natin is a rectangular metal plate. So, drawing natin yung rectangular metal plate. So, rectangular metal plate. So, ang perimeter is 36 decimeter and yung area is 80 decimeter squared. Ito yung width and ito yung length. Meron tayong dalawang width and meron tayong dalawang length. Okay, ano ba muna ang formula ng perimeter ng isang rectangle? So, perimeter is equal to 2 times length plus 2 times width. Bakit ba naging 2 times length at 2 times width? So, dahil meron tayong dalawang length and dalawang width ng rectangle. So, pagplasin mo lang lahat yan, makukuha na natin yung perimeter. Then, ano yung area ng rectangle? So, ang formula ng area ng rectangle is length times width. Multiply mo lang yung value ng length at ng width, makukuha na natin yung area. Pero as you can see, meron tayong given. Perimeter is 36. So, maaari nating isulat ito na 36 is equal to 2L plus 2W. Then, yung area, maaari naman natin siyang masulat na ano yung area natin? 80. 80 is equal to length times width. From this, meron tayong dalawang equation. Equation number 1 and equation number 2. So, continue tayo. Use equation 1 and find length. Gamitin natin yung equation 1, hanapin natin yung length. So, ang equation 1 is 36 is equal to 2L plus 2W. Divide natin lahat sa 2 kasi para ma-simplify natin yung equation. 36 divided by 2 is 18 is equal to 2L divided by 2 plus 2W divided by 2. So, 18 is equal to 2L divided by 2. So, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So, matitira na lang is L. Then, 2W divided by 2 is W na lang ang matitira. Ang sabi, hanapin natin yung L para natin makukuha. So, yung L, ililipat natin sa kabila. So, magiging negative L is equal to W. Yung 18, lilipat natin sa kabila, magiging negative 18. Ang sabi, L, walang negative. Para makuha natin ang positive ni L, of course, i-multiply natin ang buong equation sa negative 1. So, negative 1 times L is L, positive L. Negative 1 times W is negative W. And negative 1 times negative 18 is positive 18. Therefore, our length is equal to negative W plus 18. Which is, ito yung ating equation number 3. Okay, so meron tayong 3 equations. So, ang gagawin naman nating sunod, substitute equation 3 to equation 2. Wag na wag nyo isa-substitute si equation 3 kay equation 1. Bakit? Kasi si equation 3 is, saan ba nanggaling? Di ba kay equation 1? So, dapat si equation 3 kay equation 2. Substitute natin. Ano ba yung equation 2? 80 is equal to length times width. Ano yung length natin based sa equation 3? So, negative W plus 18 times W is equal to 80. Gets guys? So, nawala yung L. Bakit? Kasi sinubstitute ko si equation 3. Next, by distributive property of multiplication, so, W times negative W and W times positive 18. 80 is equal to, so, negative W times W is negative W squared. 80 times W is positive 18W. Next, lipat natin sa kabila para maging general form ng quadratic equation. Negative W squared, lilipat natin sa kabila, magiging positive W squared. Positive 18W, lipat natin sa kabila, magiging negative 18W, tapos positive 80 is equal to 0. Nandito na tayo ngayon sa general form ng isang quadratic equation. Next, meron na tayong quadratic equation. So, using factoring, 2 binomial is equated to 0. So, w squared, w, and w. Next, isip tayo ng number. Pag pinag-multiply, magiging positive 80. Kapag pinag-plus naman, magiging negative 18. Anong number? Tama. So, negative 8 and negative 10. Therefore, meron tayong dalawang equation. So, w minus 8 is equal to 0 and w minus 10 is equal to 0. W minus 8, pag nilipat si 8 sa kabila, magiging w is equal to 8 or positive 8. Kapag yung negative 10 nilipat sa kabila, magiging w is equal to positive 10. So, meron tayong possible values of width ng given rectangle. So, width daw natin is 8 or pwede rin namang width is 10. Meron tayong dalawang width na nakuha. Width 1 is 8 decimeter. Huwag kakalimutan ng unit. And yung width 2 is 10 decimeter. Next, alin dito sa dalawang to ang gagamitin nating width? Pero syempre, hanapin naman natin yung length. So, use width 1 and substitute sa equation number 3. So, length is equal to negative width plus 18. Negative w is negative 8 plus 18. Negative 8 plus 18 is positive 10. So, length daw is 10 decimeter. Next, paano kapag ang width natin is 10 decimeter? So, length is equal to negative w plus 18. Length is equal to, ano yung w? So, negative 10 plus 18. Negative 10 plus 18 is positive 8. So, length daw natin is 8 decimeter. So, alin sa dalawang situation, ito yung situation number 1 or situation letter A and situation letter B. Alin kaya dito sa dalawang situation ang tamang description para ma-describe yung ating rectangle? So, sa isang rectangle, isipin natin, alin na mas mahaba, yung length o width?
2 hours later.
As you can see here, dapat mas malaki si length compared kay width. So, alin dito sa dalawang situation ang mas mataas yung length? Tama. Letter A condition. Bakit? Yung length daw natin is 10 decimeter and yung ating width is 8 decimeter. Mas mahaba yung length compared kay width. So, based dito sa given word problem, magkakaroon tayo ng sagot na i-dimension will be length is equal to 10 decimeter and width is equal to 8 decimeter. So this will be our final answer. Okay, paano ba natin mapoprove na tama yung ating sagot? So, kailangan yung perimeter natin equivalent to 36 and yung area is equivalent to 80. So, substitute natin 2 times length which is 10 decimeter plus 2 times width which is 8 decimeter. So, 2 times 10 is 20 decimeter plus 2 times 8 is 16 decimeter. Ano ang final na sagot? Of course, 20 decimeter plus 16 decimeter is 36 decimeter. Which is, yun yung given nating perimeter. Next, kailangan masatisfy din natin yung area. Length times width, which is 10 decimeter, times width, which is 8 decimeter. So, equal siya sa 80 decimeter squared. Which is, yun yung given value ng area based sa ating word problem. So, maaari nating masabi na yung naging sagot natin na length and width is correct. Oh my God! Wow! I hope that you understand our lesson for today and naintindihan nyo kung paano ba kumuha ng sum and roots of a quadratic equation. Kung meron man kayong mga katanungan, clarification, and suggestion, just comment it down below at sasagutin ko po ang inyong mga tanong. Muli, ako po ang inyong math tulungin mentor, si Sir Chad, and hoping to see you on my next video. Thank you! Bye-bye!